Welcome to EPG Pathshala. In this module, we will discuss about water governance. So, the learning objective of water governance are water governance, need for governance, principle of water governance, element of governance, laws and policies, mandate and vision of different organization in water government. Water governance is a system including the social, economic or administrative setup that mainly deal with the water availability, water resource management and water delivery at different level of the society. So it also make a balance in the ecosystem and society for delivery at different levels of the water. So water governance, it include the formulation, establishment and execution of laws, policies, organization, institutions and interpretation of the roles and responsibility of civil society, private sector and the government in relation to water resources and services. Political, social, economic and administrative system that influence resource management and water use as well as the delivery of water services at different level of society. Determines the equity and efficiency in water resources and services allocation and distribution. Balances water use between socio-economic activities and ecosystem. Determine who gets what water when and how and who has the right to water and related services and their benefits. Water governance comprises complex, nested and interlocked set of decisions about water, therefore requires a dance between levels. So, the water governance cycle, there are four elements of water governance cycle: formulation of policies and strategies, implementations, monitoring and evaluation. Principal actions and indicator leads to monitoring, then assessing the gaps, new instrument or improvement or bridging the gap leads to formulation of policies and strategies. So it completes the water governance cycle. Challenges and strategies in water governance: developing tool and technology and applying tailored knowledge, documenting and sharing example of good governance, monitoring and assessment at regional, national and international level, democratization of governance processes through increased participation, transparency and accountability, policies on governance reforms at local and river basins level. So next is dimensions of water governance. There are four dimensions of water governance: environmental, economic, social and political. If I am talking about environmental element of water governance, then there should be sustainable use and efficient use should be in economic element, and equal democratic opportunity should be there in society on behalf of political aspect, and there should be equitable use in society for water. Dimensions of water governance: social, include an equitable distribution of water resources and services among various social and economic groups and its effect on society. Economic, take account of efficiency in water allocation, its uses and the role of water in overall economic growth and exert powerful effect on per capita income in many countries. Political involves equal rights and opportunity for water stakeholders to take part in decision-making processes. Participation facilitates more informed decision-making, more effective implementation and enhanced conflict resolution. Environmental, sustainable use of water and related ecosystem services are closely linked to efficient governance. Ecosystem functions and services are maintained and built upon sufficient flow of water of appropriate quality. Principle of governance: transparency and openness. Information related to water sector policy, water resources status and uses should flow freely within a society. Participation: every citizen, including men and women, should have a right to hear and represent their interest in water governance policy formulation and decision making directly or through the intermediate organizations. Accountability and integrity: government, the private sector and civil society organizations are accountable to the public or the interests they represent. Rule of law: legal framework should be fair and enforced impartially. Responsiveness: regular review and monitoring of water related programs and policies. water governance, global scenario, UNDP water governance facility. The Stockholm International Water Institution, that is also known as CV, is an initiative launched by United Nations Development Programme and the Swedish Agency for International Development Corporation. It supports developing countries on a demand basis to strengthen water governance and reduce the poverty through policy support and advisory services in multiple thematic areas. Water Integrity Network. Water Integrity Network was formed in 2006. It responds to increasing concerns among water and anti-corruption stakeholders over corruption in water sector. It combines global advocacy, regional network and local action to promote increased transparency and integrity. The Helsinki Rule 1966. The International Law Association has adopted this in August 1966 in Helsinki, Finland, on uses of water of international rivers. Helsinki Rule were an international guideline that regulated the use of rivers and their connected groundwater that cross national boundaries, and issued pioneer work on rule governing international rivers and lead to creation of the United Nations Convention on the Law of Non-Navigational Uses of International Water Course. The Helsinki Rule consists of 37 articles spread over 6 chapters. United Nations Water Courses Convention. United Nations drafted the document to help conserve and manage water resources for present and future generations, which was adopted by United Nations on 21st May 1997, also known as the Convention on the Law of Non-Navigational Uses of International Water Courses. It entered into force on 17 August 2014 and 17 years after its adoption by the United Nations General Assembly in 1997. UNECE Water Convention. UNECE Convention on Protection and Use of Transboundary Water Courses and International Lakes was adopted in 1992 and came in force into 1996 and has 36 parties. It provided an important stimulus for the adoption of European Water Framework Directives that represent the current European approach toward surface water and groundwater management on a basin-wide level. It is conceived as the most important development in legislation in water resource management at global level. Ramsar Convention. The Ramsar Convention is also known as Convention on Wetland and focuses on the wetland of international importance and especially as waterfall habitats. It is an intergovernmental treaty for the conservation and sustainable use of wetland. The convention was signed in Ramsar city of Iran in 1971 and was named after the city. Water governance system in India. The Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, that is also known as MOEF and CC, is the nodal agency for overseeing the implementation of environmental legislation and program and of regulatory functions. The Ministry of Water Resources is responsible for drawing up policy guidelines and for enforcing the protection of surface and groundwater resources, mainly in terms of quantity. There are the National Water Resource Council and the National Water Board that assist the foremost, the Central Water Commission, the Central Groundwater Board, the Central Groundwater Authority, various national committees and national institute and interstate river basin structures like as Yamuna Board, Narmada Board, Ganga River Basins Authority, etc. that governs the overall use of water. Element of water governance. Constitutional provisions. The constitutional provisions in respect of allocation of responsibilities between the state and center fall into 3 categories: the union list, that is also known as list 1, and the state list, also known as list 2, and concurrent list, also known as list 3. Article 246 of the Constitution deals with subject matter of laws to be made by the Parliament and by legislature of the states. In the Constitution, water is a matter included in entry 17 of list 2 or the state list, or this entry is subject to the provision of entry 56 of list 1, that is also known as union list. Legal framework or legislation. There are number of extremely complex and multi-layered legal framework related to water exist at the union as well as state level. However, major act governing water protection in India are like Interstate River Water Dispute Act 1956. This is an act of Parliament of India enacted under Article 262 of Constitution of India. Article 262 of the Indian Constitution provide a role for the central government in adjudicating conflicts surrounding interstate river that arise among the regional and state governments. This act further has undergone amendments subsequently, and its most recent amendment took place in year 2002. Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. Central Pollution Control Board and related state board were set up under this act and have power to monitor, control and give direction related to sewage and plant effluents. They also lay down the effluent standard for the sewage and trade effluents and for the quality of receiving water. These standards can differ according to stream and within the stream. Environmental Protection Act 1986. This act fixes central government power to control and enact prescription for the emission and handling of hazardous substance in any industrial site in coordination with state agencies. The central government may appoint authorities and officers to take such measures. National Water Policy 2002 and 2012. The Ministry of Water Resources formulated national water policy to govern the planning and development of water resources and their optimum utilization. The first national water policy was adopted in September 1987. It was reviewed and updated in 2002 and later in 2012. The main emphasis of National Water Policy 2012 is to treat water as economic good. Therefore, its conservation and efficient use should be promoted. Institutional mechanism. The Ministry of Water Resources is responsible for laying down policy guideline and program with the vision of sustainable development, quality maintenance and efficient use of water resources to match the demand for the development and regulatory of country's water resources. Central Groundwater Board. The Central Groundwater Board function under the Ministry of Water Resources is a national apex organization with the mandate to develop, disseminate and monitor technologies as well as to implement the national policies for the scientific and sustainable management of India's groundwater resources. The directive of board include exploration, assessment, augmentation, protection from pollution and distribution of water resources based on the principle of economic efficiency and ecological equity. Central Water Commission. Central Water Commission is a premier technical organization of India in field of water resources and is presently functioning as an attached office of the Ministry of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, Government of India. The Commission is entrusted with the general responsibilities of the initiating, coordinating and furthering in consultation of the state government concerned scheme for control, conservation and utilization of water resources throughout the country. For purpose of the flood control, irrigation, navigation, drinking water supply and water power development also. Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. The Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation is the nodal department for the overall policy, planning, funding and coordination of program of drinking water and sanitation in the country. Earlier it was under the Ministry of Rural Development as Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, but presently headed by Cabinet Minister. Drinking Water and Sanitation. The Accelerated Rural Water Supply Program was the first major intervention in water sector that started in 1972 to 1973. Organizations involved in water governance: Bhansagar Control Board, Betwa River Board, Brahmaputra Board, the Farraka Barrage Project, Ganga Flood Control Board, the Narmada Water Dispute Tribunal, Northeastern Regional Institute of Water and Land Management. So in conclusion, we can say that more and more awareness programs should be for water conservation and water governance in our society should be there, or there should be the street play or other programs which educate the student day by day, and higher authority should also use tool and technologies for the water resource management, and we all should follow policies, law and rules for each and every drop of water for the water conservation and for our further generation. Thanks.